Straight up. I'm Lisa Dennis Sparks, and you're watching CUBN, where we want to see you be encouraged in Jesus' name. Okay, guys, we're going to get into it. There's some cool things going on in the world right now, and I wanted to run a few of these by you. Wow. Hi, everybody. Well, it looks like the Palestinians are getting very upset. Well, that's normal, I know. But Trump has decided to suspend the peace talks while Abbas is in office. See, Abbas has, he has cancer. He's got some, I think it's, I'm not sure exactly what kind. He's got stomach cancer and possibly testicular cancer or something like that. Anyway, he's dying. He doesn't want to play ball with Trump, and so Trump is saying, okay, we just won't do anything about it while you're still in office, because he's on his way out. And then the Palestinian Authority's like, well, wait a minute. He's not going to deal with us until Abbas is out of office. You just don't mess with the President of the United States. Okay. You just don't mess with the guy. Well, he means business, and he does what he says. And so things are getting kind of dicey. You've got 57 Muslim nations now that are in a conglomerate to come against Israel. You've got Recep Tayyip Erdogan, also known as Erdogan, who is the president of Turkey, who is pointing himself the hand of God to gather all of the Muslims together. He is in for a very, very hard fall. The King of the North was elected again. I don't know. It's hard to know which one is which. Putin is in for another 6-year term. We've got, let me go over here. I'm going to run some of these headlines by you and let you know what's going on. We've got from Rapture Ready News. Sanhedrin calls on Arabs to take their role in the third temple as prophesied by Isaiah. The Sanhedrin is calling on the Arab people, the children of Ishmael, to take their part in be a part of the temple rebuilding and operation. They want them involved. And I think that, that's a way they're reaching out with an olive branch, but at the same time, we've still got all these nations that are gathering against Israel. It's really, really ramping up there. You've got Russia, who has now said that they will respond with nuclear weapons in the event of either a nuclear attack or a conventional attack. They will respond with nuclear weapons. So we're entering into a time here where things are going to get real dicey. Let me see if there's anything else in this immediate update I want to be sure and let you know. Egypt and Saudi Arabia reportedly pressuring Abbas to embrace Trump's deal of the century. We'll see what happens there. Let Let's see, it looks like Trump is boosting exports of lethal drones to more U.S. allies. Turkey is criticizing the U.S. over the Syrian Kurds. It's really a difficult situation in there because the U.S. is stepping in to defend the Kurds. Turkey is trying to take down the Kurds. The U.S. is defending Syrian rebels. Turkey's defending the Syrian regime, even though Turkey doesn't say that they believe that Bashar al-Assad is doing a good job or anything like that. It's, you got World War III about to happen over there. And I wanted to read you something that I think you will find very, very interesting. It is there are three planned world wars. Did you know that? 3 that are planned. Albert Pike, who was a Luciferian high-degree Mason, August 15th, 1871, he wrote a letter to Mazzini where he detailed 3 world wars that they had planned out over several centuries, and that this was going to bring about their new world order. Well, it says here, the First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. That's exactly what happened, isn't it? The divergences caused by the agentur, or agents, of the Illuminati between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken the religions. That's what they planned for the First World War, and that's exactly what happened. Now, listen to this. In Albert Pike's, he says the Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would then be restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. So there you have the Second World War all written out in 1871, long before it ever took place. Now listen to what their plans are for this Third World War. I think you'll be really surprised to hear. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati, Jesuits, and Masons between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, which is the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. That is their plan, for the Muslims and the Jews to destroy each other. Mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens, obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries, will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. These things are planned, okay? These things have been planned out for centuries, and they are carrying them out exactly as is written in Albert Pike's letter to Mazzini from August 15th, 1871. Now, don't you find that really interesting? That Albert Pike wrote this in 1871 about how they had 3 world wars planned. The first 2 have come off exactly like they wrote them. The third is between Israel and the Muslims. And that's exactly what they've set up the situation to be. This is really getting... They want Israel to destroy the Muslims, and they want the Muslims to destroy Israel. Mutual destruction. That's what they're thinking. And that's what they're trying to do. Carnage, huh? Hi, everybody. Hi, Shirley. Are you doing all right? I'm so glad to see y'all, you guys. Welcome. We're also live. We're live on YouTube, and we're also live on Facebook, and on the website, and on the network. So we're glad to have all of you here. Okay. Now I want to go over some, let me see. I did put a prophecy update on my wall. We'll leave that. Let me go over the timing with you again real quick as to what it looks like things are doing now. Now with Daniel's equation, 70 weeks of years each, 7 years each, for a total of 490 years. This time started with the decree from Cyrus. You've heard a lot about Trump being the new Cyrus. This time started from the decree of Cyrus for Ezra and Nehemiah to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the wall in the city. You had Jerusalem and the people put back together because of that decree, and that started the prophetic clock running. The clock is for both the people and the city together. So after 434 years, or 62 weeks out of the 70 weeks, Jesus was crucified on the cross, and the clock was paused right there. The temple was defiled in 70 AD. The Jews were scattered. And for the next 2,000 years, the Jews and Jerusalem have been apart. Then Israel was born in 1948, May. But that didn't restart the clock, because the people were still not in, the Jewish people were still not in control of Jerusalem as a city. So in 1967, June, during the 6-Day War, we had our event that restarted the prophetic clock on Daniel's timeline, the 6-Day War, when Israel recaptured Jerusalem. Now, if you take that timing and you notice that you've got 8 weeks of years, or 56 years of 360 days each, which is 20,160 days. So we'll count 20,160 days from June 7th, 1967, and that gives us August 17th, 2022. Now notice this. If you take August 17th, 2022, follow me on this, okay? And you subtract, that's the very end of the generation, according to Daniel's equation. August 17th, 2022. You subtract 45 days, because there's 45 days from the end of the trib to the descending of the New Jerusalem, probably for restoration of the earth. So you back up by that 45 days and you get the end of your trib. And that would be July 3rd, 2022. Then you back up 1,290 days from July 3rd, the end of the trib, and you see that the sacrifices and oblations will cease December 21st. This is at the latest, December 21st, 2018. If you back up 1,260 days, which is the Jews' time, they have to flee at the abomination of desolation. Then it looks like the abomination of desolation would be January 20th, 2019. And then the very next day, on the 21st, the final blood moon of the triad appears. Now, isn't this interesting? So we've backed up now. The Jews' 1,330 days starts at the very latest, December 21st. If you back up to the nearest Feast of Trumpets, behind that date, you get September 10th or 11th, 2018. Yeah, this year. Then if you back up from there to the center blood moon of the triad, July 27th, you've got your sixth seal, where there's a great earthquake. The blood moon is right there, July 27th. That's how we get our timing. It says that the sun would turn dark and the moon would turn to blood. Okay? There's a great earthquake when the sixth seal is opened. And also, you've got every mountain and island moving out of its place. That's interesting, isn't it? But you've also got a meteor shower, a war in heaven. Okay, sixth seal opens, earthquake, war in heaven. We're going to see things in the skies, explosions and collisions and things like that. And then Satan and his 1/3 are cast down like a meteor shower. Looks like a meteor shower. So many of them are coming down. And I think that it's possible that so many of them are falling and impacting all over the earth that drives everybody underground, because you just don't know where they're going to hit. So that would drive everyone underground to do that. And by the end of the sixth seal, everyone is underground. These things are coming fast. So I don't know, how much you can really prepare for these things, but at least they won't blindside you. But then you have a 6-week window from the sixth seal, July 27th, all the way through September 10th or 11th, 2018, where our evacuation would occur, and Jesus would appear at some point within that 6-week window, probably closer to the end than later, than the front. Probably closer to the end than the front. But it's the word indicates that you have tares, goats, the foolish virgins, who are also preparing for the wedding. See, they're not watching, but Jesus shows up in the sky and they start preparing themselves to go. Well, they don't get to go. Jesus says, "I know you not." And those who say, "Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name? Have we not cast out devils and all of these things?" He says, "I don't know you." Well, notice in both cases, their excuse is, "Lord, Lord, haven't we done this and we done that?" Well, it's not about what we do. It's about what he did. Okay? And so they are just the ones he says, "I don't know you." They just are not born with the temple inside them. Because in 2 Timothy, the scripture says, and we have this seal, that the Lord knoweth them that are his. He knows us. If you belong to him, he knows you. And he tells them, "I don't know you. I know you not." It's as simple as that. If you're one of his children, he knows you. If you're not, he doesn't. But you're not going to be pursuing God with your heart, and really loving him and studying and adoring him if you're a goat. Goats don't study. Goats don't study. All right. Is everybody doing okay over here? I don't see any questions at the moment. We're all live on several. I'm going to bounce back and forth here. We're live on several places here. Oh, did I lose it? Here we go. Are you guys about... Oh, there was something else I was going to tell you. Let me go over here and get it. I want to walk you through some of this news from Syria. Okay. And I can walk you through this real quick. Some of these headlines are just really amazing. Okay, here we go. Trump postpones his Israel-Palestinian peace plan indefinitely. That's from Debka.com. Palestinian officials claim White House is delaying peace plan until a boss leaves office. That's from Breitbart.com. Caroline Glick is saying firing Rex Tillerson removed an obstacle to Middle East peace. That's also from Breitbart.com. The Palestinians are plotting a day of rage to mark 100 days following Trump's Jerusalem recognition. That's also from Breitbart.com. Palestinians riot in the West Bank and Gaza in a weekly protest of U.S. Jerusalem recognition. That's from the timesofisrael.com. Lieberman accuses Abbas of inflaming the conflict between Israel and Hamas. That's from the JerusalemPost.com. 2 soldiers were killed and 2 hurt in a car ramming terror attack in the West Bank. That is from the timesofisrael.com. Hamas and Islamic Jihad welcome car ramming attack in Samaria. Call for more attacks. It's Israel National News, Arutz Sheva. Fatah marks the 40th anniversary of the most deadly massacre of Israelis by praising the thunderous souls of murderers. That's from Breitbart.com. Israeli jets strike Hamas post in Gaza hours after bomb explodes on the border. That's from the timesofisrael.com. The IDF has disabled 2 more Hamas terror tunnels. That's from Debka.com. Is a war between Israel and Iran Hezbollah imminent? That's from Algemeiner.com. Well, is a secret North Korean base in Syria producing chemical weapons and ballistic missiles? That's from BreakingIsraelNews.com. Iran, Russia, and Turkey hold Syria talks in Astana. That is from the timesofisrael.com. See, Iran, Russia, and Turkey, they're all scheming together. Trump will nix the Iran nuke deal, a senior Republican predicts. That's from the timesofisrael.com. Iran rejects any change to nuclear deal, vows to push ahead with missile program. That's from the timesofisrael.com. Russian nuclear subs quietly reached the U.S. coast and then left undetected. That is from RT.com, Russia Today. They're going to rub it in. Putin easily wins another 6-year term. Firm's grip on Russia. That's from news@yahoo.com. No one knows Putin's exact net worth, but many speculate he's the wealthiest person on the planet. He has a $1 billion palace and a $500 million yacht. That's from BusinessInsider.com. Man, he is rich. Russia says the U.S. no longer rules the world as tensions mount in the Middle East, Europe, and in space. That's from Newsweek.com. North Korea nuclear reactors show new signs of activity. This is from CNN.com. Wow. North Korean nuclear-armed ICBMs can reach Europe. That is from RT.com. Man. And then we've got all kinds of earthquakes, a ton of 5s these days we're having. some 6s and even higher. A lot of volcanic eruptions. I'm not going to go through all of these with you. I'm just going to get right back over here to the news. Now, there's been a series of earthquake strikes around the Ring of Fire, with California being struck multiple times. Wreakage, huh? Also, a series of potential eruptions reported at Yellowstone National Park from weather.com. Extreme drought kills more than 700,000 animals so far this year in Mongolia. That's from watchers.news. Wow. A police arrests 11 in San Antonio, Texas, found partaking in a grotesque satanic ritual. That's from the christianjournal.net. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't think that's really... new pressures for perfection contribute to rise in teen suicide. Parents barred from questioning gender identity changes at Virginia school district meeting. That's from the christianpost.com. Saying God bless you is a microaggression, college says. This is from christianpost.com. So now you're assaulting somebody if you say God bless you. An evangelical judge who refused to marry same-sex couples was handed down the longest suspension in history. This is from the christianpost.com. Virgin Mary apparition attracts hundreds to Germantown. This is from RT.com. See all this idolatry? You don't need it. You don't need it. Now, charismamagazine.com has an article, God is separating the wheat and chaff now more than ever before. The Christian film, I Can Only Imagine, is beating all expectations on opening weekend. That's from the christianpost.com. Now, I think that is probably going to wrap up our prophecy update. We're going to be going to break here in about a minute or less. And then when we come back, we will get started on our Way Happy Bible study in Ephesians. We are starting Ephesians chapter 6. So everybody be ready to get into Ephesians. And we're going to go to chapter 6. And Ephesians chapter 6 is talking about the armor. Okay, so we're going to learn about the armor today in our Bible study. The armor is absolutely vital. And once we come back from our break, we're going to get into Ephesians chapter 6, starting at verse 1. Let me see if anybody has any questions about our timeline. Okay. I don't see any on the YouTube feed. Let me look over here on the Facebook feed. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Lori. Hello, Claudia. Hi, Roberta. Hi, sisters. Roberta says, now are we converting the Jewish calendar to our calendar? I have done the calculations according to the Jewish calendar. And then I convert the days to Gregorian so you'll know which ones I'm talking about. Yes, it's all done according to the Hebrew calendar, sister. And then we can, then I convert it for you and let you know what Gregorian days these days are. Okay. And also we're given the blood moons according to the Gregorian calendar. But, we know, oh, you like the set, Claudia? I'm glad you're here, sister. Troy, that's for you. Compliment on the set, brother. Claudia really likes that. Hello, Lori. So glad to see all of you. Okay. Let's see. We're going to go to a break shortly, but in the meantime, I'm looking at your comments here. Michelle says she's going to go over to YouTube. But you guys can do comments in Facebook as well. I'll try to kind of bounce back and forth. I'll kind of try to bounce back and forth there and check out your comments.